All right, there we go. Sorry about that. I was having an issue getting everything going. We got it ironed out now. What am I trying to do here? All right. Okay, we are finally sorted, I believe, back in the black. Although right now we're just in the hangar. I'm not really sure whether I like this or not versus just being in the hab again. But whatever. That would be nice if we had the choice. We had the choice. All right. Am I in? Yeah, okay. In my hangar. Everything is still there. We should have kit. Probably grab some more mags. Supposed to do that from Seraphim though, because that was where I bought them. Interesting that the Hornet is still there. The Metapin is still there. Pretty sure I see the Atlas is still there, but the Gladius is not. Which was the last thing that I actually moved yesterday. It should have been sitting right there too. But that's fine. We'll just take the Hornet. Take the old Hornet. None of those are the right buttons. What did I do? Oh, wait a minute. I know what the problem is. The problem is I fired up joystick gremlin, but I didn't actually enable it. There we go.
Engines online. Bottom fuel is at 100%. Takeoff complete.
Feet on the pedals would probably make the pedals work just a little bit better. Give gateway.
Shields offline.
Take a pit stop at Seraphim, set my hospital, because I went after a bounty in the middle of the night last night while I was insomniac. That was a Tressler, and I definitely don't want to respawn a Tressler. I could have sworn that I switched to nav mode, but maybe I was in nav mode when I took off. Right. Set the hospital first before I forget. I did have... Yeah. All right. Plenty of folks moving in and out of the stations. It's kind of nice to see. Not really sure we need crowds of NPCs standing around, but whatever floats your boat, CIG. It's not what we're here to do. You done got your brain turned around backwards there, old man.
Friendly reminder that no matter your health status, just by being here, you're already taking important steps towards peace.
Oh, that's right. The last guy that I went after was actually a Grimmax.
At Kelto RX, medicine isn't only about
It was a good fight. I did not win, however. He was just too nimble in his arrow. My poor Hornet could not keep up.
Hey there.
Obviously, I had the firepower advantage, but it was a good fight, though. It was fun. I'm not paranoid. You're paranoid. Of course, the way it works now, if somebody had followed me into my elevator, they should get teleported out. But, you know, I'm going to count on that for sure. Not. I forgot about grabbing ammo. So we got to hop back out again. Pico forbid we have an option to abort moving to the seat and go, whoa, wait a minute. I didn't actually need to do that. Because no, instead we have these long-ass unbreakable animations. All of which are death traps, CIG. All of which are death traps. Ammunition. There we go. And do we have, we do, you know what, let's just do this. Pull that. Pull that. We've got med pens. We've got rad meds. We've got all the various and sundry utilities, although I don't have my secondary. There we go. Because I use the medical. Looks like we have an arrival on the porch here. We'll have to deal with that in just a second. Give me 1 second, y'all. They're not quite here. Of course, they'll be here as soon as I arrive someplace, right? That's the way that'll work. All right, let's do a run of ASD. Investigation missions. I'm not necessarily hunting the armor, although I do have a number of various and sundry pieces. To be honest, I'm not really a big fan. I mean, the hood is cool on the armor, on the white and the black sets. The helmets are absolutely terrible. The armor pieces are okay. I don't generally wear light armor.
If you're ready to tackle this one, just keep your head down and you should be able to get it sorted.
He's awfully quiet. Why can't I hear him?
Tackle this one. Just keep your head down and you should be able to get it sorted. Okay, hope you're ready to tackle this one. Just keep your head
Cut it
down
out.
and you should be able to get it sorted.
Obviously, the delivery is about to happen.
Hope you're ready to tackle this one. Just keep your head down and you should be able to get it sorted.
Dogs will be dogs. Loki, hush. Oh my God, I said hush. They're knocking on the door. One sec, y'all. All right. That's that. You know what? I would like to know what happened to the notion of ship MFDs remembering their settings, CIG. I mean, I swear you guys broke that like right away.
Engines.
When I get back in the seat, it should remember the MFDs. It doesn't.
Takeoff complete. Shields offline.
Hey, what's up, Glitch? How you doing, man? Hello? Can I spool? I'm doing all right, man. Oh, of course, we're still locked on Seraphim Station. Not that we've already been there or anything, right?
Quantum drive is now on.
Just getting on day by day.
Quantum drive is now off. Quantum drive is now on.
I probably should have done these in different order for story purposes, but
Quantum drive is now
we always go for the best rewards first, right? Yeah, I mean, you know, that's the thing. I do know it, and it's very much appreciated. But, I mean, we have gotten to the point where it's just like, I hate it. It shouldn't have happened. Right? Nobody deserves it. Least of all, my kid. Anybody that young. But life will continue to run us over until we're all dead, right? That's just the way it goes. Well, it's definitely a way to engage the brain and for something that just doesn't really matter, right? I did all the ASD missions, and I do like the facility overall. What I don't like is the current implementation of go there, do one step, leave, go back to base, come back to a different facility, do the next step. It feels very Star Citizen in the worst way. So I do wish that they had gone ahead and finished implementing the facility as a unique installation. And I would kind of hope that however it will eventually be in place will require less going back and forth and more going to the hangar and doing what you need to do and then getting back to it, or even just progressing through the facility would be nice, right? For anybody that's done the whole thing, it'd be kind of cool to go and do the first step, have the conversation with Aaron, and then do the next step, etc., etc. How you doing, Scuff? Just, just playing the game, right? I say that very tongue-in-cheek for anybody that doesn't know, because, in general, one does not simply play Star Citizen. But we're going to see how it goes today. To the lobby. And then we'll head to engineering. And we're going to go deep. We got to go all the way to the end for the data. The Star Citizen experience, that's it exactly. The last one of these I did the other day, yesterday, day before, I forget when it was now. I was following behind inadvertently. I never did see him right until I got to the end. There was a group of 3 guys that were doing the run. I think they were just running for the armor because they were going all the way through the facility. But I saw them cleaning up the elevator room at the bottom on level 9. I see the NPCs are not exactly on point today. What's really annoying to me is the first day that I started running these, I got 2 of the UEE badges, right? And I had it all in. I had all my loot in a box in my Starlancer TAC, and I got disconnected. I crashed out, logged back in, whatever. I eventually went up to a point where I no longer knew which facility I had been at, and my Starlancer was in an unknown state, and I wound up having to claim it. And I've done a bunch of the missions since, and I haven't gotten another UEE badge yet. I know I'll get some more. It's not like it's a big deal, but I was like, well, hey, that's cool, because I hadn't seen them before. You threw them out? Well, I mean, you know, it's not like they're really any good for anything, except if you hold them up. They've got the little holographic UEE symbol. Well, I know more of y'all are gonna pop. No? They're very... very, sluggish and slow today. Oh, shit. Have a combat knife to the throat there, buddy. That wasn't weird at all with all the glitchy, janky crap. What song? Sorry, I'm a little slow on the uptake today. I guess where the server blade pops is kind of random. I've seen it in a couple of places here now. In this locker here. That kind of thing. I'd swear where I got the come on, poke your head back out. We got more guys that came in from the other way, huh? Where'd the other guy go? Oh, come on. The alt one just gets ignored so often. Anyway, what I was gonna say is usually where I got the badge from was this box here the first few times. I've now looted this box probably 50 times and not seen the badge again. Okay, alright, you know what? What's really annoying here is that I thought I had set up a notification for Stream Elements to warn that the ads were coming. and all I'm seeing is the boom, there's an ad message. I'll have to dig into that and find out why that's not working the way I expect it to. I have been collecting the decon extras since they deal with the rad sickness and the hit point regen. I usually equip at least one of those. The worm's asleep too. Yeah. The AI is definitely working great, CIG. You guys are on point. Come on. Hey, how you doing, Mardigan? Good to see you. No, I haven't been watching it. To be honest, I don't know that I'm interested. I want to be interested, but I have a real hard time being interested in watching anything on TV until it's had a decent first season and it's been renewed. So that, and it's on Disney Plus, which is so not a fan of the House of Mouse these days. Probably I'll wind up watching it eventually. But that's kind of the problem, right? The level of cynicism that I have now. I've got this whole extra bunch of baggage that really hasn't got anything to do with the actual entertainment. It's all about the entertainment creator, which I hate. Right? I don't want to have to be worried about that while I'm trying to decide what I want to put on TV. For fuck's sake. Aggro Dad, thank you for the raid. I appreciate it. Sorry, I'm a little slow on the uptake here today. I know there's one more someplace hiding in a corner. Where is he? There he is. Appreciate the raid. How you doing? I hope you had a good stream today. All right, get some rest, man. Thank you so much for bringing your people by. Hope all y'all are having a good day today. We're obviously just tackling the Star Citizen, or maybe being tackled by the Star Citizen is probably a lot more likely before we're done here today. Just doing the investigation missions and grabbing some loot on the way. I'm half concerned that I did miss one, although I'm pretty sure I got all of them. these aren't really like high value or anything. I'm just pretending. There's got to be a reason to loot boxes, right? The only reason I'm looting these blue boxes is I'm kind of hoping I'll get another UEE badge since I lost the ones that I got on the first day. Just having fun looting. That's it. I do like to be a loot goblin. All right, we're topped off. Radiation's out of the way. I already have some, but it's like, you know, again, there's loot to be had, but you should just take it. No, I got tons of pink. I don't need the pink flares. Okay, now comes, I think, it's really unfortunate to me. I'm sorry, I have whole words. It is really unfortunate to me that this facility is the newest map in the game, right? It has some truly terrible hitboxes. There are a number of hitboxes that are just absolutely awful. And when you're trying to get another delivery coming, the wife went absolutely crazy on payday. It's just towels and stuff, but everything she ordered, it's all coming separate, it seems like. But there's all kinds of spots where you should be able to shoot around or behind or through stuff, right? And instead you get invisible hitboxes. Obviously that's the other delivery. Let me grab that off the porch. Looks like we got seeds in the mix on that one. Thank you for the follow, Patrick. Appreciate it. Ugh. Words are hard for me today. All right, let's see. That's a good example, though, right? Love shooting the invisible stuff. That's great. Killing me. You cannot take for granted that, you know, if there's not something between you and your target, that you can shoot your target. It's fatiguing, man. I don't necessarily expect perfection, especially at range, but it needs to be consistent. I expect too much, I know. Oh, good God. Can I please hit the right button? Okay, that is a corpse. All right. We're gonna get blasted by the radiation. Jetpacks already built into the suits? Yes. Usually. We do have EVA jets on all of the suits and undersuits, assuming everything is behaving, right? Every once in a while I find that I leave my ship and it doesn't realize that I'm actually an EVA. It's not really jetpacks. I mean, it's I don't know, can we see him? I don't think we can see him in this environment. Maybe it just can't see. Oh no, there it is. Yeah. You see the jets built into the suit. The maneuvering thrusters. Whatever you want to call them. Alright. I think we done sniped everybody. Except for probably right near the exit. Let's go grab our data. Oh, good God.
Good. Now that you got the data, bring it to me.
I always get antsy in this bit. I want to run through, and I know as soon as I run through, I'm gonna get blasted by the radiation. All right. think I got them all. It's some kind of an anomaly, right? Yeah, it's... If you follow the lore of the mission content, right, I don't think they actually know exactly what it is. They refer to it as an anomaly. They're using it to generate immense power, right? Earlier in the facility, I think that's on the research wing. This is the engineering wing. We actually encounter another one that's either a different anomaly or a smaller anomaly. But like this one, it creates a zero-G environment because we're underground right now, right? We're underground in this facility. So there's something weird going on here. It definitely gives me the old Half-Life vibes. I didn't really need to shoot that guy, but I really wanted to. Come on, door. Fixing to get irradiated. Open. All right. But we just haven't gotten all the information yet. Now, the content that he created for this patch, 4.3, goes up to this point. Like, this is actually a repeatable version of the final mission in the loop that we have so far, right? We go get the data, we extract it, we send it to dude through the freight elevator, which don't even get me started. But we don't know the rest of the answers yet. I don't know exactly when we'll get the next content patch drop, but yeah. Now this stuff is all pretty new this year. And you'll hear me periodically grumble about, like, the way that they implemented this is not at all how it's supposed to be, right? The content that we're seeing, the NPCs, the objectives, all of that's fine. But right now there are like 120 copies of this installation around Stanton, right? And there's only supposed to be one, but it was supposed to be set up instanced, so that as a player or a group of players entered it, a partied group of players entered it, right? They would be in one instance. So there would be in their own private copy, right? And there's a whole argument to be had about that in the community, about whether there should be instance content in Star Citizen. I'm not even going to get into that. But what we have instead is we have multiple copies of this instance, and you'll go do step one and you'll be at facility number 1. And then you go to step 2 after going back to your home base, right? And then you go to copy number 47, and then you go back and you go to instance copy number 17, right? It's all over the place. So it doesn't really feel cohesive. And all of the back and forth is unnecessary because the objectives you nibble at it, right? It's like go here, and essentially you take 3 steps in and get what you need and get out. And then you come back and you go 3 steps deeper and get what you need and get out. And it's like, it's grr, right? Because I want to be able to go into like a level, right? Like in a regular game and go, okay, I just want to do all of the content at the facility. And it's not set up that way. And I'm hoping it will be more that way when they do finally implement it the way they intend to implement it. But I guess we'll see. All right, we're just going to unpack these for whoever stops in next, because I don't need that. I already have, I think, 2 copies of the whiteout core. The loot is a little too RNG as well, which I kind of... Look, there's another one. It's all a matter of... I mean, the aesthetics are definitely personal taste. I actually kind of like the cutter. I think it's kind of cool, but I do enjoy the Drake vibe. But I can totally see why some people don't like it. I mean, to me, it's It's definitely a believable utility spaceship, but it's not especially stylish. So, I understand. All right. There's one more loot box here. Probably because you crashed it. Oh, well, you know, new to the game, crashes are definitely going to happen. I have crashed into so much stuff. I looted 2 of these yesterday. I don't really need any more meds. Let's just head out of here. Nothing wrong with being short and fat. Were you on the night side of a moon or planet? Because that's my favorite. It's like, you know what? If you guys didn't make the ground look like space in the pitch black, I probably would crash into it less often. How you doing, Abga Bob? Welcome back to this. Yep, that's pretty much it. Oh, we went right by the medical facilities. Let's treat the tier 3. I joke all the time, right, that Star Citizen can be a beautiful environment. Unfortunately, 60% of the time, you're in the dark, right? Of the remaining 40% of the time, 10% of that, or what is it I usually say? Something like 25% of that, you're being blinded by the sun. 25% of that, you're dealing with the weather, right? And that leaves you a solid 20% of beautiful environments where you can actually see the game and enjoy it. Right? It gets to be really frustrating. There is an illumination refactor coming, right? They're working on improving rendering and lighting. There was some tech preview notes that I saw just the other day that talked about them going to Vulkan as the main rendering engine, and there were some notes about improved lighting. So maybe we're going to get there soon. Not enough forest urban areas either. Fully indoor or crappy a canopy outdoor. Yeah. Now we saw some good stuff in some footage from CitizenCon, right? They showed some cool biomes, but the ones we have are still pretty limited. Missiles and countermeasures have been an off again, on again kind of problem with the game, really, for years, where they just won't lock, or, you know, you get locked on and your countermeasures just don't work. And I think a lot of that continues to be client to server desync issues, where the communication between your client and the server is intermittent. When the game is behaving, there's nothing like it. The rest of the time, it kind of wants to poke you in the eye. I'm going to say it again, CIG. What happened to you guys making the MFDs remember what was going on? All right, let's see. Next contract.
Engines online. Bottom fuel is at 100%.
Ends the whole soloing. Yeah, right. I agree. I want engineering to matter. Right? I mean, I do think it's going to be an absolute mess when it gets added. but it needs to be part of how you balance out large ships versus small ships.
Takeoff complete.
Also, it needs to be part of why people are going to take care of their ships, right? There should be advantages if you're taking care of your ship. Everything behaves a little more reliably, etc., etc. How you doing, Super? But yeah, Tier 0 engineering is going to be a mess. And then there will be the whole thing where CIG has to balance rewards for content versus whatever the added time sink is for engineering. Yeah, they definitely need to improve all the social tools, right? It needs to be easier to create parties. We need to be able to create regular parties. Different games call it different things, but like if me and my 3 buddies are constantly formatting content, we need to be able to set that up as a regular group so that it has its own chat channel, its own comms. You get some kind of party marker, even if you're not in a group. Even if that's just a color of a name, we need all kinds of social tools. That, and they need to expand on VoIP, because VoIP needs to work for larger channel populations too. Part of the problem with VoIP right now is if there's too many people in the local channel, some people just don't hear it. So all that stuff needs to be fixed up. All right, now we're up to the seismic data.
Shields online.
Because console ship with mics, yeah. Honestly, CIG should have made VoIP a priority a long time ago. Because if they want people to get used to using VoIP, it needs to be reliable and useful in your face all the time. Otherwise, people aren't going to use it. Right? There are people that do the Discord thing on the regular, and it's superior in almost every way to VoIP anyway. But if they want VoIP to replace the chat channels, you got to make it work. Can I have my my hanger, please? How can I have another ad break already? Oh, man.
Engines offline.
All right, to the research wing, which in a lot of ways is the more dangerous of the two. Ads? What's that? I know, right? I'm not gonna lie, Twitch Turbo is the best. Subscribing to your favorite channels is great too. Don't get me wrong, but Twitch Turbo is the best. Come on. All right, you know what? Let's do the, as much as I'm enjoying my tunes, let me turn the game music on, give it a chance to do its thing. I have not really checked it out much since since I started doing the content. I know that there's some good music and all of that, except that we still have the same problem where, you know, these are my audio levels, right? My sound effects are down to 50%. I still can't hardly hear the music by comparison. There's a bunch of guys down below me. Unless somebody was just here and killed them all, of course, which is definitely a possibility. I could see you through the tree. Oh, look, it's some Jello. When do we get a sniper rifle that gets a that has a night vision scope? That's what I want to know. It does feel a little bit different. It does. See, I'm trying really hard to not just do the night vision thing, but it's really tough sometimes. I'm trying to enjoy the creepy vibe. All right, babe. That guy's trying to shoot me through the window. I know, well, you know, I keep commenting when I post about it that all we really need is some head crabs and some barnacles. The barnacles were the cave fisher things. Come on, poke your head out. I saw one run over there. Yeah, I haven't actually watched it yet. We were talking about that a second ago. I have my hesitations because first of all, it's new TV, right? And I don't trust new entertainment until, right, it's got a decent season and a renewal for the following season. That, and it's Disney, right? So I've got a whole nother array of concerns because it's Disney. I'm interested, though. I imagine the wife and I will wind up watching it eventually. Because not only is it science fiction, but she loves her scary movies. Hey, what's up, Scotty? How you doing, man? Okay. I have not started tracking the right mission yet, so I mean, not even remotely on the right page here. No, wait a minute. Yeah, I am. Retrieve the seismic data from the research wing. Why is it still showing the previous mission marker? I don't remember. Don't I normally have to pick something up right over here? I must be thinking about one of the other missions. Is this the one? Oh wait, this is the one where I've got to go into the 0G room, right? And grab the data. I think. It is nice to see the NPCs moving around and stuff. There we are again with the wonderful, wonderful hit reg, right? The hitbox, the anti-hitbox porn. Come on, I can see your shoulder there, bro. You're not as hidden as you think you are. I don't know that I've seen that. That's probably one that's available in Pyro, and I'm just not used to seeing it. What the shit was I going to say? I don't even know now. Oh, the delay on this. Having to render everything in the freaking inventory window drives me crazy. That stuff should instantly be visible. Okay, so we're headed in there to get the chip. No, that's not the button I wanted to push. Not Alt X, just X there, dude. See, here's another freaky anomaly. Has that guy got any loot if we grab him? Do I have the, oh, it's a cutter. Shit. don't have a tractor beam. Alright, well, while I'm thinking about it, I guess, let's do the, because we're going to need the repair tool in one of our upcoming missions. Hello? Really? It's not going to let me do it because it's a bunk. Obviously, I looted the multi-tool, and those don't work. Don't know why, CIG, but they don't. That's not going to print a multi-tool. All right, whatever. We'll deal with that when we get to our next mission. All right, whatever. I'm assuming I get irradiated if I get too close. I pushed the play button, but it didn't do anything. How come it didn't do anything? I don't know. Weird. It didn't do anything at all. Alright. It did finally. Yeah. Now I can. Now that I've got the data, I can do the thing over here. Wait, why is this door closed? This door is never closed. I gotta go the other way. I hear Copians. Why is this door closed? Ah. I don't think I've ever had that door closed before. Interesting. Okay, we got to... That's the other mission. Why aren't you doing the thing? Really? Oh, maintenance required. Where's the hole? What do I gotta fix? I'm confused. Shit. The real problem here is that I don't have a multi-tool to repair with, because the one that I looted off of whoever was broken. Yeah, it must always be, because I guess this will open it, right? All right, I guess I can use my, I hate to mess with the My medical multi-tool. That's the lifeguard. That's the torch. And then... Alright. And what do I need to fix? I mean, there's nothing wrong with this. There's usually a pipe next to the a conduit next to the missions that I've seen where I have to do this. Oh, there we go. No? I can't actually print a multi-tool? That's kind of annoying. Where's the damn conduit that needs to be fixed? What the hell is going on here? I just climbed up this a second ago. Okay, I'm very confused. All right, I'm actually very confused. Should I not have a card? I should have 2 server cards. Because I didn't go turn in the other mission yet. Right? So where's the card that I just grabbed? In the 0G. Okay. One of the missions is not going to work. I just know it. But this still says it needs maintenance. I don't see nothing to fix. See, this is what I'm talking about when it comes to Star Citizen, right? Is it can be great, and then you turn around and it's complete trash. Complete trash. Because everything that we've learned from this mission arc, right? Which you guys haven't seen me do the whole thing or anything, but everything that we've learned about how to do what we're supposed to be doing is now suddenly irrelevant. Because I don't see any... I don't see anything to do here that we're supposed to do when we get the it needs maintenance thing. There should be a broken conduit or something that I can repair with the salvage repair tool to fix it so that I can click the copy button. So this is the usual, right? This is Star Citizen. This is why I wind up rage quitting the game, because CIG does not seem to understand how to create reliable fucking content. Where's that damn torch? I don't need that. Can't be a light. Definitely don't need that. Look, I just told you to fucking drop it. You know, heaven forbid we just get shit to auto stack. Actually, I thought, oh, that's that shirt. Oh, man. All right, whatever. Let's see. We'll go through the... I'll go through the 0G here in a second. See if there's... See, I don't see anything to repair in the vicinity. Welcome back. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the new story. Look, another Pico Ball. That's number 2 so far. You know, the new additions to Dune, for sure. Wonder if this guy's tool works. I bet it doesn't. What is this placeholder? Cambio. Full canister. Yeah, see, we still got no module. So this is typical too, right? CIG gives us the tool that's lootable, right? Does it work? Because CIG somehow created these tools to put on the NPCs and whatnot, and they're fucking busted. They just don't work. Good job, CIG. You guys have shown me yet again that you're semi-incompetent. Good job. And this is not a new problem. This is a problem that's been ongoing for a while now. We're doing the inventory refresh problem right now too, right? My multi-tool, my medical multi-tool is currently MIA. There it is, right? Is it back now? No, still not back. Fuck. This motherfucking game, dude. Can I please have my multi-tool back? You steaming pile of dog shit. Where did that come from? Did it take away my... No, I still have my pen. Maybe that one was dropped by somebody else. Give me your hat. Maybe that'll force an inventory update. No. Awesome. Fantastic, guys. Good job, CIG. See, this This right here, this is Star Citizen. This is Star Citizen. Right? Everything about this situation, this is fucking Star Citizen. Here I am, I'm in a facility, right? And I have no idea what I'm supposed to be doing to finish this mission because it's telling me that the terminal needs maintenance. I don't see anything to maintain, right? And then piled on top of that is the fact that some of my inventory just went MIA, right? And it's a crucial piece of my inventory because it's my freaking medical tool, right? This is Star Citizen. This right here, Chris Roberts. This right here, Rich Tyler. This right here, this is what's wrong with your fucking game. That isn't a game, that continues to be a tech demo, even though this is the year of playability and stability, right? Everything was supposed to get better. And what have you done? You have added a new pile of broken shit in the year of marketing and monetization. That's what we've gotten instead. That's definitely the joke. See, the thing is that I stacked these, right? I already stacked these. There's something going on with the inventory that just refuses to refresh. And if I could get these to stack, if the inventory would actually refresh, I'll probably get my multi-tool back, right? Like when I get to the end of the level and I go back to my hangar, I'll probably have the multi-tool back, but that's not going to do me any good if I need to use it to heal an injury. Yes, I do have med pens, but that's not really the point, right? The point is this stuff just needs to fucking work at this point in fucking development. It just needs to work. Inventory should be practically bulletproof by this point. See, there it is. It finally gave it to me. Because what? Because I guess I got it to do the thing. It looks like I probably got my server blade back too. Will it be the right server blade or the wrong server blade? Because I don't actually know now. Which means I probably won't be able to finish this mission, and I probably won't be able to finish the other mission that I already essentially did and just need to turn in at the freight elevator. Right? It's just so fucking typical. You know what? I'm tired of messing with the dark too. Yeah, okay. I didn't think so. There isn't any way to. So I still don't even know what I'm supposed to be fixing to use that terminal. Because there's just nothing there. I think that this is a situation where shit has stacked up and just broken, right? I don't understand why we've got maintenance required on this terminal. Because I don't think that's a thing. Right? And I really do. I think, oh, you know what? Dude. Oh, now it's going to work? Great. So what happened is it put the wrong blade in the first time.
That's what
Yeah, but it said it needed to do maintenance too. The problem was, what happened is the server blade for the previous mission, it inserted that into this mission location, which is why it didn't do the step, which means that it ate the server blade from the previous mission. So I'm 91K and, 12 minutes or 18 minutes of my time out for that first mission because it won't be able to turn that one in because that server blade is gone. Because CIG are fucking rubes that don't know how to generate content that's reliable. This is the part that pisses me off. These are the fundamental, basic building block shit that CIG should have been focusing on for 10 fucking years, let's be real. But at least this year, during the year of playability and stability. This kind of shit should just fucking work at this point. If it knows I need the server blade that I picked up at this location, when I go to use this object, that's the server blade it should have inserted, not the one that was in my inventory for the other mission. They just can't get it right. I think you were away when I put the server blade in the first time, when it used the wrong one. So yes, now I'll be able to at least turn in this 87,000 credit mission, but the 91,000, actually I think it's 75 or something, 78,000 credit. But the 91,000 mission that I already completed that just needed to be turned in, it fucked me on, right? And I spend half my time trying to figure out what's going on because the inventory's jank. Because this shit is Star Citizen. This shit right here. It took me so long messing around over there that these guys repopped. It really is. This is the stuff that enrages me. Is they added a bunch of new content, right? And you would think that if they were going to add new content, that the tech that content is reliant on would all be fixed by now, right? And it's not. It's all still as buggy as it's ever been. You might actually want to point that weapon at what you're trying to kill. Where'd he go? Did he die? Oh. I'm really confused. I could have sworn there was another guy in the heavy red armor. All right, whatever. And look at that janky movement. Just amazing. Amazing, I tell you. Amazing. Come on. Star Citizen is a fantastic platform for platforming, let me tell you. Oh, good God. Yeah, you know what? CIG continues to break that shit too. We used to have a more robust interaction system. It's gotten worse. It really has. It's just gotten worse.
Access granted.
Where you at? I know there's somebody sneaking around down there. Thought there was usually one guy here on this level. No? I guess not. I am not going down on the lower level because, to be honest, I really don't care about the stupid, shitty backpacks, and that's all that's on in those. All that's in those armor loot boxes on that last level. Why does that say deliver anomaly data? Back at the previous facility. I mean, it doesn't matter because that frickin' that second data card is gone. Whatever. Whatever. This is what I get for trying to do multiple missions, I guess, right? Even though they're all at the same facility. God. Star Citizen continues to have so much potential. It really does, right? Arguably, this particular content that they've added this time around might be the least Star Citizen content that we've had added to the game. It's not really intended to be open world content. It's intended to be instanced content, which means that other than the people that are joining you with it, assuming, of course, that group cooperative play is a thing that will work once they freaking finish making it an actual unique instance, right? It means that you're not going to get any extraneous intersection between players, right? Which kind of flies in the face a little bit of the original, the Kickstarter, which is essentially everything is actually in the verse and it's all there. People can interact there, etc. Right? This is going to be an instanced location. And I'm willing to accept that the technical limitations mean that it's probably always going to be an instanced location once it is actually an instanced location. Right? But they shoehorned it into the verse in such a way that it is not the way it's supposed to be, and it's still buggy as fuck. I just,
Takeoff complete.
I don't even know what to say most days.
Shields offline.
I just don't.
Landing gear raised.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, it's all about the corporate greed in the end run, right? That's the problem that we have with most of the big development houses now, is all they're interested in is cashing in. And there's a lot of people that would say that's all CIG's doing now, and it becomes increasingly difficult to argue with those people.
Quantum drive is now up.
When we get new content and it's buggy and broken and half-assed, all while we're continuing to market ships that are nowhere near done. And the general hit of hopium and copium that we get is, well, you know, the team is mostly focused on Squadron 42 right now, which is whatever. It's an excuse, right? But first of all, I didn't back for Squadron 42. Squadron 42 was a secondary consideration. I backed for Star Citizen. Even if you're willing to swallow that pill of copium, right? They're going to launch Squadron 42, and what's going to happen when all of those players want to roll over into the persistent universe? I mean, you guys that have watched me talk about this before know what I'm going to say. It's going to be an absolute shit show, because regular gamers are not going to tolerate this level of bullshit that I just faced off with for 20 minutes, right? They're going to be like, nah, no thanks. I'm going to go play a game that actually works. So they should have been focusing on making sure that the freaking persistent universe was at least stable and playable for real before they launched Squadron 42. And now we're on the road to having a date when Squadron 42 is going to launch, and there's no fucking way Star Citizen is going to be in a significantly better state than it is now. It just isn't. Will it have more content? Probably. Is it going to be in a better state? No. It's just not, because everything from spawning ships to managing inventory continues to be broken shit. Therein is the problem.
Deployed.
So I don't know exactly who we should be blaming for the problem, but somebody is just failing hard when it comes to the direction of the Persistent Universe Project. They do not seem to understand the animal as it is supposed to be. They do not seem to be able to manage expectations. They don't seem to be able to deliver on an actual live service product, even though they've been telling us it's a live service product, despite the fact that it's an alpha for years. It's true. I mean, you know, and here I am, I'm feeding into the beast by playing the game, and it's because, you know, some of us have been here a long time. Some of us have been here longer than me, right? But here I am still trying to play the game because I still want it to be playable. And I'm not just putting that on the freight elevator, because I have had a couple of missions now where I have turned in by setting the card on the freight elevator, and it doesn't do its job. It doesn't actually complete the mission. So we're going to play the game, the freight elevator game, where we put it in the elevator and we send it up and then we send it back down and hope that it actually works. This being probably the absolute shittiest way. See, here we go, right here. Here's the power usage data that I don't have now because the other fucking mission ate that card because CIG is incompetent. Maybe, Super. I don't, you know, me, I'm tiny. I'm irrelevant anyway, right? I mean,
All right, that's some solid work.
Tirada's not going to stop streaming Star Citizen.
I'll contact you
Salty
again.
Mike's not going to stop streaming Star Citizen. And why are they not going to stop streaming Star Citizen? Because it's their income, right? It's their revenue. So it's not even like it's really an option for the people who it would matter for, because they still got to get paid. They got to pay their bills. Should work. I definitely don't need the fucking torch, though. All right, let's see here. Oh, God. It's true. I mean, you know, any PR is good PR. As long as people continue to talk about it, it means that it's relevant, right? But we're past that point. I said it's just not realistic to expect everybody that streams Star Citizen to stop doing it until we all decide, you know what, this is never going anywhere. And I mean, to be honest, there's a lot of people that have gotten to that point, right? There are a significant number of people that are just like, you know what, this is a scam. It's never going anywhere. And I don't think it's a scam. Don't get me wrong. I think it's grossly mismanaged. All right. But, you know, you can see those conversations ongoing on Reddit at Star Citizen refunds. Right? I mean... Oh, man. It's just, it's fatiguing to me Because last year, right, end of the year after CitizenCon, near the end of the year, Chris Roberts wrote us a very nice letter and said, hey, we hear you. We're going to focus on making the game, right? That's the short and sweet of it. We're going to focus on making the game. We're going to make it more stable and make it more playable, right? And then what did they proceed to do? They proceeded to add some new content and remove some content. There is a bunch of content that has been removed from the game pending the mission system redo, right? But there's, I mean, all the Reclaimer missions are gone. Most of the actual contact missions, the missions for the contacts where you go meet them and do the stuff, Twitch Pacheco and Wallace Clem and Rudo and Eckert, although there are some Eckert missions that are in, but it's the new missions that are essentially not really new missions that they've tied to Eckert kind of arbitrarily, right? There's a bunch of content that's just gone. And then they added new content, and they added the new content and it has all the same problems as the old content, right? Like the hitbox stuff. Here it is, I'm still trying to shoot around corners, and instead of going around the corner, I'm shooting the corner, even though it's invisible, because the physics models don't match the actual screen display models, right? We're still dealing with fake reloads. You go to reload your weapon, and it doesn't properly reload. You pull out your med gun or your medical multi-tool, and you heal yourself, and then you try to go back to your weapon, and you can't because the med gun's stuck in your hand, or you try and use the med gun and suddenly the weapon is back in your hand and you're shoving the barrel of your weapon through your arm. All of that stuff is still a problem. They've done some very questionable changes. We can't have a med gun and a sidearm at the same time, even though I can have a sidearm and a medical multi-tool at the same time. It makes no sense. It's stupid. It's completely arbitrary, idiotic changes that do not bear serious consideration, but that's the direction that they've decided to go with the game. Right? I mean, it goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. It really is. The directors are the problem. It may not be all of the directors. It may be that the directors are willing to consider what they're being told from on high. So in which case it's really CR that's the problem. But somebody up there at the upper echelons doesn't know what the fuck they're doing when it comes to designing this game as it was pitched to us. Right? Now maybe they don't care. Maybe they really just don't care what was originally pitched to us, and they just want to build what they want to build now. And Chris Roberts is either on board with this revised vision or just doesn't care anymore. I don't know which it is. All I know is that it's getting lost in the weeds. And while there's still the potential for a lot of this stuff to get cleaned up, because let's be real, we're still talking about something like 10% of an actual game. That's what we've got in Star Citizen, is about 10% of an actual game. And of that 10%, 95% of it is placeholder or tier 1, if we're lucky, right? A significant portion of it is tier 0. There's just a lot of stuff that may not bear any actual resemblance to the game when it gets somewhere near 1.0. And let's not pretend that we're on the road to 1.0, because we're not. We're nowhere near a 1.0 launch. Looking at Star Citizen as we have it right now, we are still at least, even if they suddenly flipped the frickin' switch and they were grinding out the frickin' game, we're still 5 years away from a 1.0, right? Which means we're years away from a 1.0 after Squadron 42 launches, even if it's a year late. So it's shaping up to be a monumental disaster. Maybe it'll be recoverable, right? I'm not saying that the game is dead, you should give up, blah, 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 whatever. That's not what I'm saying. It could still recover, but it all does just scream this project is grossly mismanaged. And that's become really frustrating, right? I have moments where I really enjoy the hell out of it, don't get me wrong, or I wouldn't continue to do this. But they have got to. Somebody over there has to pull their head out of their collective asses and drive the bus and drive it towards a destination instead of just taking every exit and U-turn and meandering all around the country to stop at some billboard for a new ship. Yeah. I mean, in a lot of ways, Squadron 42 is Star Citizen's GTA compared to Red Dead, right? Red Dead would have been a much better game, a much more complete game, if they had just applied themselves to it instead of just shoveling all of that effort into GTA. And I know there's people that really like GTA and they don't care about Red Dead, and that's fine. There are people that are going to be like, oh, wow, Squadron 42 is the bomb. I don't care about the persistent universe, right? But it's a shit show. Yeah, well, I mean, that's people in general these days because we live in an ADD society, right? If it's not in front of us full time all the time, we don't remember it yesterday. It does get tired, right? But I want to say, look, I'm glad that they're adding new content to the game, right? They added new stuff this year. We got contested zones, right? Which are pretty cool. Don't get me wrong. They're definitely a PvP centric thing, but contested zones are cool. I'm glad that content is in the game. That said, contested zone elevators and rewards continuing to vanish after patch drops. Freight elevators continuing to not work right at the contested zones. Not all the time, but sometimes. The RNG for the contested zones still winds up churning out ships that people have already gotten when what they really wanted was that other ship, right? They were a shit show when they were released. They're better now, but they're still half-assed. And that's been every major content drop this year, right? It's the same thing with the worm, right? The worm stuff works until it doesn't, and then it's a shit show. It's the same thing with the big-ass laser, right, at the orbital laser platforms. Some of that shit just falls down and doesn't work, whether it's the NPCs that are supposed to have the cards not spawning or the cards not working or whatever. It's all of these little pieces that just aren't reliable, and they were an absolute disaster and mostly unplayable when they were initially added to the game. It's the same thing with this freaking freight event that we just had. It was the same thing with the freaking supply or die. Right? It was everybody standing around waiting at terminals. Right? It's just, it goes on and on and on. CIG goes, look, here's some new stuff. And it's just as fucked up as the old stuff. Yeah, well, I mean, and that's the thing, right? I mean, that's the sane thing. However, if we all did the sane thing, funding in Star Citizen would be nowhere near what it is, and that kind of turns it into a different kind of problem. It isn't just that we're willing to fund the project. It is that CIG has shown a systemic tendency to take advantage of that, right? Which means they're not really respecting the backers as a whole, and they're much more interested in marketing a future iteration of the game that we will probably never see so they can sell more ships, instead of actually doing what Chris Roberts promised us he was going to do this year. And that was make the game and make it playable and stable, right? That's really where the buck stops, right? Is at Chris Roberts' desk. Until he goes, you know what, I'm kind of stepping back. It's Rich Tyler that's the problem now. Blame him or whoever it is that he wants to pass the buck to. Although I do actually think Rich Tyler is a problem. Now, that problem may be that my vision is not the same as his, right? And whatever. That's up to the people who drive the bus there to decide whose vision should be the priority. But the gross mismanagement of resources and the schedule that they've got Squadron 42 on when the Persistent Universe is nowhere near ready for that release it's a problem. It is a problem. And instead of them working to resolve that problem, they are doubling down on the Star Citizen way, which is just throw content out there, no matter how buggy it is, and hope that people will continue to stay interested in the project until we can get back to that content and fix it. Right? And that is what they have been doing for 12 years with the Persistent Universe now. And guess what? It's not working. Yeah. And the other side of the whole thing is that how many developers these days are actually developers, right? And that trend, I don't know that that's necessarily going to get any better, because part of the thing is I feel like we have a striking number of devs now that are essentially just people that are working out of a library, copying and pasting modules, right? And I don't just mean game dev. I mean, particularly application dev, because these applications and programs that they're foisting off on us now they're not anywhere near as refined, that's not the word I'm looking for, optimized or resource conservative as they used to be. I mean, think about all the shit that used to got done when it came to computer programs in the 80s and the 90s. There were very limited resources, so people knew they actually had to know their shit to be able to pack all of the functionality that they wanted into those pieces of software. Right? And now we've got boatloads of RAM and boatloads of disk space and boatloads of bandwidth and all of that. So they're just not working to optimize it as well. They're not worried about blah, blah, blah. Instead, it's just like, what is the easiest way for me to add this to this package? Okay, well, here's a little library that's got a module I want. I'm just going to chuck it in there and do the bare minimum work to connect it. Right? And we get that again and again and again and again. I mean, there's a reason that if you go look at the Android entertainment apps and you go look at Amazon, which is just Android, of course, Amazon's Fire Stick shit, that stuff is all trash. It doesn't have the functionality that it should have, and the functionality that it does have, periodically you've got to turn it off and turn it back on again to get it to work, because it's not clearing its storage use. It's just not doing any of the stuff that it's supposed to do, because whatever monkey it was that copy pasted that code didn't actually do everything that needed to be done to make sure that it works properly. Right? So, and the corporate money doesn't really care as long as they continue to cash in. And it didn't used to feel like CIG was one of those companies, because it's not a big megacorp, right? It was an independent studio. But now there's way too much marketing driving the show. There's people who have left the project. Of course, they were here for a long time, right? Maybe them moving on is totally normal. It begins to feel like the soul of CIG has bled out of the company. And instead, what we have is people who are just doing their jobs. And we could argue about whether they're doing those jobs well or not, but it's not the same thing as a group of people who were interested in the project and its heart and soul. I think Squadron 42 will probably be a great game if you're into the interactive cinematic video game experience, which a lot of people seem to be these days, right? There's a lot of games that are like that now versus the Souls-like games, which are more about the action combat or whatever, right? But that doesn't translate especially well into an open world sandbox game, and it isn't gonna save Star Citizen from being the shit show that it is right now. They need to start working on getting, because I mean, you know, it's the most basic of basic shit that doesn't work still, right? Let's see. I mean, I'm just curious here. If I go to mercenary contracts, right? Here we go. Here we go. First four missions that are in the mercenary list, they have no details, no objectives, right? These are broken. They probably don't do anything at all, right? Like if I go take one and, okay, maybe it works, right? I'm not going out there to try because these comm arrays and searching the target satellites don't work half the time anyway, but my bet would be that even if I were to go to that comm array, I would not be able to find the target satellites, which is why these missions don't show to have any objectives, because the satellite spawn locations are not populating. If they are populating, they're certainly not carrying over to this. But this is this is how you do content in Star Citizen. This right here. The contract manager, right? So this is the most basic of basic shit, and it continues to be broken garbage. Now, this is old as the hills. Some of this, at least, is probably still Flash, right? At least we finally got some kind of separation between big hauling missions and small hauling missions, but we still don't have proper filters for the contract manager. I can't say, okay, I want to do small hauls here in, flying out of Seraphim to, Daymar, or that I want to specifically fly from Crusader to Hurston. There's no filters for that. There's no way to channel that. I can't go, okay, I want to do bounty hunter missions, but I only want to do player bounties, or I don't want to do player bounties, right? I only want to do small ships because I don't want to have to, stop mid-combat and fly and restock my wolf, right? These are basic things that we just don't have right, and that's without me even getting into the navigation, right? Because the whole time you're fighting the navigation system. These are the things they should have been working on this year, right? Making sure that all that stuff worked. And I know, there probably would be some developer over there at CIG would say, well, part of the reason that we still have this old contract manager is we have a new one in the Squadron 42 branch, but we can't add that to the persistent universe yet because we need X, Y, and Z, so that we can actually add the new contract manager to the persistent universe. Z is coming soon, but we need Y before we can finish Z, and we need X to be polished up before we can finish Y, because that's the story of Star Citizen right there, right? There's always three things that we're waiting on for the next thing that we're going to get soon, TM. And to be honest, I'm at a point now where I don't care what your excuse is. I still have this fucking ancient freaking contract manager that's a pile of shit to deal with every single time I log in the game, right? And we got this snazzy new star map, right? Snazzy new star map. It looks good. It looks better than the old one, for sure. But it's still missing all kinds of functionality. And worse, the navigation shit that's behind the star map is still the same fucking trash that we've had for 12 years. Well, 11 years, however long it is that we've had the persistent universe. Because still, especially at Daymar, if I go to Daymar, right, and jump to Daymar, you will constantly not be able to jump from Daymar to Crusader because the OM markers are blocking your current route. So you have to find an OM marker that's actually lined up properly from where you're at without being blocked by another one, and jump to the OM marker before you can jump to Crusader. Even if it looks like they're totally opposite directions, because the OM marker container is of significant size, because the same old navigation issues continue to be a problem. And of course, they added all of these mission locations for this Onyx facility, right? Like I said, there's like 120 of them, right? There's like 30 Onyx facilities per planet spread across the moons and whatnot for those planets. And you can't navigate to them unless you have the mission to go to them. And you can only navigate to them when you have the mission to go to them, when you have the mission step that says go to that location or return to that location, which can turn into long, slow travel at times because, you know, you get got by the game or the odd NPC and you have to respawn. The whole thing is just a slog. Yeah, and I mean, I don't necessarily disagree with what you're saying, Super, but the problem is going to be what? The problem is going to be that they're going to launch Squadron 42, probably in 2027, not 2026, but whatever. They're going to launch it, and they're going to say, oh, it's got 100 hours of gameplay. Right? It sounds like a lot of gameplay. I don't know how many hours of gameplay they have said it's going to have. If they said, I don't remember. But no matter how many they say it is, even if they say, oh, there's up to 300 hours of gameplay in Squadron 42 if you do all the side questing, what's going to happen is within 3 days, significant numbers of people will have finished Squadron 42. Right? Within 3 days, I guarantee you, mark my words, no more than 3 days before the first people are saying, oh, I'm done with it. I finished it. How you doing, Aristan? Thank you so much for the renewal and the 42 months of support, sir. You are a legend. And then what will happen is some of those people are going to go, okay, now I'm going to go try the Persistent Universe because I really enjoyed Squadron 42. And it won't matter that in 2 years, the Persistent Universe is going to be in a better state because hundreds of thousands of people are going to have, in that 2 years, rolled over from Squadron 42 to try playing the Persistent Universe, and it's this shit. That's not going to be good for marketing. It's not going to be good for the Persistent Universe. It's not going to be good for the morale of the team. It's not going to be good for the morale of the backers. It's going to be a nightmare. And it could have been avoided if CIG had just properly prioritized the Persistent Universe alongside Squadron 42, and they had properly prioritized the foundation of the fucking game. I mean, I say it all the time. It's like Star Citizen is this freaking skyscraper, right? And instead of them making sure that the foundation is laid, instead they threw the freaking beams up and they've built one corner of the foundation over here, and then they're up on the third floor at an opposite corner building parts here, and it's all the way up along the freaking skyscraper. And now they've got to backfill all of this shit, except that the problem is that they realize that, you know, they get all the way back down to the second floor and they can't go down to the first floor because the shit that's in the foundation doesn't work with the stuff that's on the third floor. It's a shit show. Yeah, but I mean, you know, we have all kinds of gamers now, right? And there are definitely going to be the speedrunners that just don't care about the story. All they care about is, oh, I was first, right? And that's been a problem since World of Warcraft mainstreamed MMORPGs. I mean, it used to be a joke when old school MMORPG players would say, and it wasn't just MMOs, some of it was just RPGers too, that were the rushers would go, what do I got to do to win? And the open world sandbox people, whether it's MMOs or RPGs, would say, what do you mean? What do you got to do to win, man? Just enjoy the game. Winning is just, that's not a thing. You play the game for as long as you enjoy it, right? And it's not a joke anymore. It's absolutely real. All the people care about is, how can I be as uber as possible and beat the game as quickly as possible? That is a significant portion of the game's marketplace now. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, you know, I like just running around and enjoying the environment, hanging out, and then when I feel like, okay, now I feel like getting hooked back into that story, that's what I look for in an open world game too, right? And it's okay if sometimes that storyline at least sounds like you need to push, as long as you can continue to do what you want to do in the area that you want to do in, because that's how you get people locked into your game, is you let them play it the way that they want to play it. I mean, I'm there. It's just that all of this... Anyway, I'm off on a freaking tirade now. I know, it's just... It's so frustrating to me that this is every single time Star Citizen adds new content, is we get the same old, right? And I mean, now all I've got, instead of a storyline to pursue, is I have these, really, I don't even have any investigation missions available to me right now. I have these random investigation missions that are little nibbles of the actual storyline, and they're at any one of 30 freaking locations spread across Crusader, right? It doesn't feel cohesive anymore. Add in the fact that, you know, part of what is driving people doing this content is the RNG loot boxes at the facilities, and the drop rates are garbage, and the RNG is garbage because I'll hit all 3 armor chest locations in a particular place, and all 3 of them will have exactly the same chest drop, or exactly the same backpack drop, or exactly the same arms, right? And it's like, that is a definite sign that your RNG is trash, right? At least pretend to put some effort in there, so that if I've got 3 loot boxes, they're unlikely for all 3 of them to have exactly the same drops in them. I'm not saying that some stuff shouldn't be rare. I'm fine with that. Although, to be honest, I really don't give a shit about any of this armor. I think it's ugly. I'll tell you what, I like the Wolf a lot, but it's not a great ship, because the ballistic ammo count is not really enough for you to be engaging ships that size 4s should be what you want to use against them, right? As soon as you start hitting ships, you know, Corsair and up, maybe slightly smaller than that, where size 4s feel like they should be the weapons that you want to use, those ships are tanky enough that you're gonna run out of ammo if you try and deal with the target and the wingman. So I think that makes it subpar. Right now, if you just want to fly in and kill your target, probably you'll be okay, unless you run into a retaliator target, or maybe even a caterpillar, right? Or Carrick. It's just, it's in a weird place because, of course, we don't have Maelstrom. We don't have armor penetration. We don't have armor. Right? The whole thing just feels half-assed when you really start to look at it. Although, for me, the number one thing that I look forward to CIG eventually fixing with the Kruger is being able to retract that shitty fin, because it's a shitty fin. Even if you like the notion of the fin, the one that they have on there does not fit the aesthetics of the ship. And I know aesthetics are completely subjective, but if you think that that fin belongs on that ship, you are wrong. You're just wrong. No, we won't be able to swap guns on the Wolf. I guarantee you what they'll do, if they're going to make it possible to have an energy weapon Wolf, is they'll sell a variant. We'll do the Ares thing again. Because CIG marketing greed. But we'll see. We'll see. The space boat's rudder. I mean, I really could. I could be okay with the fin, but it does not suit the aesthetics of the ship at all. The rudder just does not. No. It just doesn't. It doesn't. That, and I think it's just too tall. I think it's just too tall. I don't know. I don't like it at all. Yeah, I know what's going to happen, though, is they're going to let us Alt-K it, right? They're going to let us do the configuration and hide the rudder. And then when we get atmospherics in, if you don't fly with the rudder out, you'll be penalized in atmosphere. I know it. The caterpillars, yeah, but what about all the wingmen? Right? That's the thing. And that has not been my experience, is all I'm saying. Right? The caterpillars are relatively soft when it comes to that size ship. But go kill a retaliator. Right? Go kill a retaliator in the wingman. Or go kill a Carrick. Right? And yeah, I know you can say, well, that's not really an appropriate ship, and you're not necessarily wrong. Really, what I really want to be able to do with the Carrick is I want to be able to blast the hangar open and then land in it and then kill the crew that way. But that gameplay doesn't exist, so. Well, you're way better than me. That's all I can say. That has not been my experience at all. My experience has been the NPC ships turn into bullet sponges and they just don't die. How about you go do a couple of MSRs? That's an even better comparison. Go kill a couple of MSRs. Because there's something either really wrong with that ship right now, or it's balanced in a completely different way than the rest of the ships. Yeah, you want the fucking Blade, man. Don't even get me started talking about that ship. I cannot believe that the pip issues continue to linger on the fucking Blade. I mean, we're years in on that problem. And that's the whole thing that I'm really griping about, is the inconsistencies, right? CIG cannot seem to figure their shit out. Running a mile and swinging your greatsword around. I'm sorry, I'm slow to see your post in on Kick. Kick still doesn't have its, well, though, you know, I'll have to look and see, actually. I did see something else about a Kick API update. Maybe I need to get streamer bot set up right so that the alerts actually work. I'm doing all right is the answer to that question. I mean, as all right as I can be. For anybody that doesn't know, I got back from visiting my son a week ago, and that was after he passed from colon cancer. So that's part of the reason that I might be a little bit extra agitated about everything in general. But you know, we're doing okay, doing as okay as we can. Well, I mean, the thing is that Squadron 42 is supposed to be feature complete, right? And I don't understand how Squadron 42 can be feature complete if we still don't have the flight model locked in. I mean, I guess you can argue that there is a flight model and the rest of it's just tuning, right? But that feels disingenuous to me for CIG to say 2 years ago, Squadron 42 is now feature complete. We don't have a fucking clue, you know, how ship combat is going to be tuned, but the game's feature complete. Just smells like bullshit to me. So, but whatever. You know, we'll get what we get when we get it, and we'll like it or we won't. Right? Anyway, I think it's probably a good idea if I call it for the day. Star Citizen has aggravated me enough today. I really can't believe that I ran into the usual Star Citizen bullshit in the newest content of the game. I don't know why I would expect anything to be any different, right? But it's just the nature of the fucking beast. It was feature complete, sure, but yeah, the first time in 2017, yeah. Well, I mean, you remember it was going to launch, Star Citizen was going to launch in 2014. Oh, and then it was going to launch in 2016. Oh, and then it was actually feature complete in 2017, until it was feature complete in 2022. I mean, that's the whole thing, right? That's Star Citizen. Meanwhile, we definitely do not have the same mentality. The studio doesn't have the same mentality, even just a few years ago. I mean, in 2020, 3.9, they added Klesher, right? And Klesher was going to be a way to channel criminal players to like-minded individuals and criminal relevant content, right? With a prison that wasn't a punishment because it was going to have content that you would be able to digest as a player that was interested in pursuing criminal content, right? That was the studio in 2020. 5 years later, absolutely not the same mentality. Klesher is definitely a punishment now. We're not going to see any new content there, probably ever. Definitely not anytime soon. But CIG has not a single clue what to do with criminal content. So, you know, it all is what it is. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here. I do appreciate everybody hanging out for a little while today. I was going to say I'll be back on Thursday, but I do have a doctor's appointment on Thursday. I got to go see my doctor. I don't know what time that is. It may not even impact the stream. When is that? No, it's in the afternoon. It was originally going to be in the morning, and then they rescheduled it. I'll probably stream for a little while before the appointment, so I should be around on Thursday. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here. Thank you all again for hanging out. I appreciate it. All the 07s, to everybody that helped share and contribute for the trip so that I could go see my son during his last days. There are no words to express to you what my gratitude is. But I appreciate it. I'm going to get out of here and go see what the Shield Maiden has going on with the garden, since I didn't hear her come back in the house. So I guess I better go check on her on the deck. I'm sure she'll have me watering or pruning or or tying up plants. And I will see y'all later. Everybody remember to stay safe and stay healthy, because being sick sucks. And I will see y'all around the verse. You know what? I just don't even have the capacity right now to try and raid out to anybody. So I'm just going to let y'all go do what you're going to do. And I will see y'all later. Have a great day. All the love, y'all. Thank you so much.